All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the
Happy
first
New Year!
show and tell of 2024. Everyone had a winter break, so folks are coming back. We'll have
Break time's over.
break time's over. We'll have lots of guests and more show and tells all throughout 2024. We're just getting started. We're going to start off with Jeff this week, and then go to Mark and join in. The link is in Discord if you want to come by.
Come on by.
Our team will be mostly back next week as well. We'll have some guest hosts, including JP. We're here every single week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Show and tell. Come by, show and share your projects. It doesn't have to be Adafruit stuff, of course. It can be.
Doesn't have to be electronics.
Doesn't even have to be electronics. We have folks that have shown all sorts of things, from retro
Paintings.
hardware to things that they're making, to places they visit, to just things they've discovered and wanted to share it on the longest running
Car stuff.
show and tell online.
All right. Kick it, Jepler. Welcome.
Jeff, what's
Happy
going
New
on?
Year.
Hello, Happy New Year.
Maker of the, I'm going to say, here's we do, instead of bug reports, we do hug reports at Adafruit. I'm going to say this. Jeff has been working on and worked on and has one of the only open source hardware cameras in the world, and been working on this, and it's Python powered, and you can make your own digital camera.
It's a lot of fun.
MEMENTO. It's one of our new products for the year. We were working on it for a really long time with the chip shortage, but it's really neat. We're just talking about this before we went live, and you can do so many things that you can't even do with the most advanced, iPhone, Android, or whatever, because it's all locked away. You can't really mess with cameras anymore, and we're looking forward to all the workshop settings and schools and hacker spaces and maker spaces where people can really dig into what it means to make a digital camera and image, learn about it. Also, it's kind of nice not to have your GPS coordinates like baked into every photo. Like, you can really explore what a digital camera is. And it reminds me of those fun disposable cameras that we used to have, where like it didn't really matter. I also like that you can decide if you want to have it connected or not. All sorts of stuff that's different than the cameras that are in our pockets, our phones at all times. So, Jeff, why don't you take it away? What you got going on?
All right, we're not going to talk about cameras, even though there are so many ideas bubbling. But so I've been continuing to play with resin printed keycaps, and this is the batch that I printed today. And I'm adding the legends with gel nail polish. So here I've been adding some features that improve resin printing. There are a number of things you have to design for in resin printing that you don't in traditional filament-based printing, and one of them is suction cups. I'm printing this on the build plate with this against the plate, and the way it works is each time it has to pull up. With this against the build plate, and each time it pulls the build plate out of the resin, if there's like a bounded region, that's a suction cup, and it creates resistance to that pulling up motion. So these holes here at the edges, at the corners, and then in the middle of the edges, are to let the resin flow into that area instead of having it be self-contained. And then another feature is this hole in the side, which is not exactly working as I'd like it to, but when your print is completed, the plate is up here. This has been the dunking process, and there may be resin trap because this is like just a big open area, and you don't want to transport that resin that's uncured into the next step of the process. And so it's nice when you can make it flow directly out the part that's pointing down of your print, but that's the face of the key. So my compromise is to drain out the side, and you take the thing off and kind of let it flow out for a while. But
That's a good idea.
I'm just really happy. I'm still really pleased with just how these look. You can see layer lines if you catch it just right, but just the quality of the geometry is a lot higher than with an FDM printer. These aren't perfect prints. I've got some flaws here. But,
it's like an old timey, I don't know, like typewriter.
It is. Yeah, I was looking through all the fonts on my system, and I'm like, this one is super cute.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So here, these legends are mixed up because the library I'm using and like the standard nomenclature for key rows are backwards. So this was supposed to be my top row, but the outline of the key is the bottom row. But this is the cherry profile. So I'll drop a link to this. I probably did last time. This OpenSCAD library called Key version 2. It does a bunch of this stuff, and I'm just adding on little bits of functionality to it. But it is so cool, and my goal is to have a keyboard that I designed myself, that I wired myself, that I put in a 3D enclosure, that I wrote the CircuitPython code for, And next, I will add keycaps that are all my creation, and inching closer to I made this whole thing, and that's really cool.
So right now, someone can make a keyboard, make a screen, have a screen that's powered by CircuitPython, a keyboard that's powered by CircuitPython,
a camera that's powered by CircuitPython.
What was that?
A camera that's powered by CircuitPython.
Yeah, a camera that's powered by CircuitPython. You could do a mouse. You could do, but we don't have, one of the things that we might want to do this year is with like an optical sensor and like other things, like show how to actually make a CircuitPython powered mouse and then 3D print the.
There is a trackball in the store.
There's that has USB. The problem with the image sensors is they're made by Pixar. It's really hard to buy the sensors unless you're buying like a bazillion. It's a kind of annoying. I've tried a couple times. I'll try again, but there's like, the PNW 30 something. And I keep asking like, oh, can I buy like 1,000? And they're like, no.
No, you don't want to talk to you.
That would be a fully open source computer.
That would be cool. There are a couple of 3D printed trackballs at least out there. I know Scott uses one. Every once in a while, I'm tempted to buy that because I love my input devices. Yeah,
and you can do, I think like myself and JP and other people, just people that I know who do live shows, they use CircuitPython and an HID device to, have key switches between scenes, between things. If you're a streamer with OBS or something like that, you can make your own mini keyboard that just does specific tasks. Same thing for, a numpad or a keypad. So you can have like your own system with just all the stuff that you can program in Python, which is
I've been thinking some of those new Qualia devices, the screens have touch screens on them, and I'm like, we need some good projects with this.
You could do UI.
The round ones make me think rotary phones.
But, and then if you want, you can hook them up with IoT things. Okay,
cool.
This is
anyway. That's what I'm up to, and maybe something more CircuitPython related next week. But
really cool.
Keys shift. We shall shift.
Shift
in. Good night, y'all.
The next person. Thanks so much.
Jepler.
Okay, we're gonna go to Mark, and then after that, I think BCG. Mark, what you got going on?
Mark, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. So I didn't get a chance to show up during Christmas to show this off, but I did show the tree I was doing off. But I came across an idea to enclose the electronics for it that became much easier than I thought that I wanted to share. So I designed this small box made of Lego. There's on Bricklink, there's a Lego Studio program. So everything right now is just hidden inside to run the tree. And flipping away from that.
Oh yeah, you're showing off this cool tree, but you were like, I need to make a good enclosure, so it's all just random wires everywhere.
Yeah. So what I found was this Lego Studio program is, for a CAD program, incredibly easy to use. This took me about an hour. It might have been after that show and tell I actually designed this. You can choose your parts in the menu, select them, place them where you want, rotate them as needed. So in less than an hour, I had basically designed an entire enclosure for all my electronics. You could do this for other ones. One of the gaps, just as a hint for anyone, fits about a USB-C cable in when it's about sort of one brick high, which was handy. All the wires went in there. But then the real power of this was under model info, it shows you all the pieces you used. And it actually goes on Bricklink, which is sort of, Lego bought the site. I'm not super familiar with it, but it hooks up stores that sell Lego pieces individually with people who want them. So you can add them to your wanted list, upload it to Bricklink, and then it matches you up with a store. This was even a higher price than I paid. I think I was about $5 Canadian, similar shipping. So it became super easy. I designed it, uploaded all the parts online. It matched me with a store in Edmonton, I believe. Wasn't even sure. Click pay now, and 3 or 4 days later, I got an envelope in the mail, including about 100 Lego bricks, which then I could use to build.
That's pretty cool.
It's dangerously easy.
Yeah.
Before you know it.
Yeah.
All right, if you're up for it, I would love to see if you want to document any of this on the Circuit Playground, the Adafruit Dash Circuit Playground site. If you want to publish
This be a good playground guide, yeah.
Because even just I didn't even know about this brick CAD tool. It'd be really cool to get some screenshots, but only if you're up for it.
It's been on my list to do, but some other stuff came up over the holidays that distracted me. But hopefully in the next week or two, I will.
I'm just trying to inspire you.
What's neat is
What's
neat is this is kind of like when, and they're still around, of course, you can upload your 3D CAD file, and there's people that will print it out. There's essentially a matchmaking service, which is sometimes hard because it's always like, well, maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. Like, how's this 3D print going to be? And then now there's like service industries around it. But Legos are Legos, so there's someone who's like, I will just, which is kind of like it's the very fast version of 3D printing because they're like perfect.
Yeah, and the best part about it is I ordered a few extra bricks while I was at it, so I needed to tweak a couple things that I hadn't thought of.
Yeah.
Well, I just had extra pieces. I can tear it apart and rebuild it.
All right. Well, it looks great.
That's really cool. Yeah. And what was it? Is it the tolerances on Legos like amazing? So like you're not worried. Like, is this Lego going to fit this other Lego? It actually can work out.
The difference, I tried 3D printing some of my own in the past, and just the fit difference you can feel.
Yeah, it's always a little different from printer to printer, from place to place. Okay, this is really cool. Thanks, Mark, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
All right, next up, let's go to BCG. I'm going to add your screen, and then after that, we'll go to Tony. BCG, what do you got going on here? This looks cool.
So, hey, a few weeks ago, I showed my custom keyboard controller for my favorite keyboard, and that's been working out pretty well. So I started like adding new features to my keyboard firmware, which is written in TinyGo. And the main thing I've been working on is there's this dynamic key remapping program called Vile. That it's meant to work with like QMK, and it uses like a custom HID protocol to basically it loads a definition of the keyboard from over like a custom HID endpoint. And so if I have I actually like using your boards for doing the keyboard development, because it becomes a little frustrating when you load new firmware onto the keyboard you're using and then suddenly it doesn't work anymore and then you can't fix it. So so I have like a macro pad and a Circuit Playground Bluefruit, so that basically like the definition of the keyboard's like stored on the device. So if I choose like the macro pad, it'll kind of pull up sort of a graphical representation of what it looks like. And so and then it supports layers like this, so you can have different keys on different layers. By default, right, this particular macro pad has like volume like up and down as the default for those, but these can be if you just click on them, go here, do like backspace and a letter A, you can then like kind of it just changes them dynamically like that. Right now I don't have it saving to the flash though. That'll be next. But then and then it basically can just detect whatever supported devices you have here. So if I choose the Circuit Playgrounds, it can kind of do the same thing. If I remap this to letter B or something, that'll work. So and it's my actual keyboard, so it can get pretty complex. And then even if you're really digging into things, they have like a matrix tester on here. So if I want to sort of see if like my matrix scanning code, this has this isn't dependent on the US, or it's not dependent on like the actual HID report interface. So but this is technically a keylogger, so you have to like unlock it first by holding down a key, and then it can, you can push all of these at once. Normally that would be limited to 6 keys, but so that's like pretty useful. But I got that mostly. There's still some features I need to get.
All right. If someone wanted to learn more about this or do something like this, what do you?
Oh yeah, actually I do have this on GitHub, so I don't have a link handy.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Post a link.
Yeah, can you drop a link in Discord?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. What is it called?
So this program's called Vile, but the stuff I have on GitHub, I just call it keyboard firmware.
Keyboard firmware.
Okay.
And this is for well, no, it does what it says.
It's exactly.
And this is for folks who want to completely own, hack, mod their own keyboard firmware, kind of no matter what.
Well, it's kind of like what you were saying with the camera before, is that these things can do a lot more, but they tend to come pretty locked down from the manufacturer. So
yeah, one thing that's kind of nice about this state of the art with keyboards now is they can do a lot, but then you have to install. It's not a ding on like Elgato or like whatever, but you always have to install this like kind of big app to run it all. And I'm just like, I don't really want that big app. I wish it was all on the hardware and I could just put on any device I want and not have this like running app in the background.
Yep. And the nice thing about this program too is that there's like a web HID version. So you could just go to their website. It'll detect, Chrome will detect your device, and you can do all of the same thing right on the website. So.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about like, there's not the updated drivers on this other computer, so I can't use my keyboard.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much. And thanks for coming by.
Thank you, BCG.
All right. Next up, we're going to go to Tony. And then after that, Joe. Tony, take it away.
Hello.
Hello.
So, I do martial arts, and our martial arts organization has these timers that are no longer made that we use for tournaments. And so I decided to do a prototype of my own type of timer. And of course, I'm using and I know in the Learn guides, there's a interval timer that I actually discovered after I started building this.
But you learned so much.
But as you can see, there's now a lot of options there that are not available on the current timers that we use. And it's a nice cardboard backing for doing prototyping. And this is definitely a prototype version. And you can see cutouts where I had one type of switch, and now I have another type of switch. Yeah. And anyway, it's been a lot of fun. And I've definitely, as you said, I've been learning a lot. I had never used the Matrix Portal board before, and it's been fun.
Okay. I think it's great. I mean, I love it when people use electronics for their main hobby because, there's a lot of electrical engineers, but they're not always necessarily going to be interested in making timers for martial arts.
Scoreboards, timers. There's people who I've seen ones for sprinting, for all sorts of sports where you need to control different increments. You also have different spaces. Also, that stuff is expensive.
I know.
For if you need to outfit.
If you're like buying off a shelf, it could be like $500.
Yeah, and sometimes you need to bring it with you, and there's all sorts of stuff. That's a really cool project.
Yeah, sorry. I've got like a stopwatch on there, the various different types of timers, team scoring.
Yeah, you could turn it into matches. Sometimes the matches have different lengths. Sometimes you're doing a tournament and you need to change it. Sometimes it's scoring. Sometimes other things. This is really cool. Yeah. Well, excellent work. Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right. Next up, Joe. How's it going?
What's up? Good. How you guys doing?
Good. Okay. Oh, it looks like one more person came in, so we'll go to you, and then I think we're gonna go to Quentin.
Okay.
All right, take it away.
So I grabbed a file off of Colts and ended up scaling it to 300%, but I did some Blender modifications to it to add scales to it with the brush texture.
That's nice.
Yeah, and then I actually got something kind of nostalgic. The room smells nostalgic to me right now because it's ABS plastic, and I haven't smelled that for like 8 years. But it's actually MakerBot plastic from like 2000.
Oh wow! I wonder if it's like a fine vintage wine.
It's actually printing really well, like it is almost.
It was a good year. It was a 2001 spring.
It was like I remember when I got it. It was like when the replicator first came out.
Memories.
All right, cool. So you're making models. Are you creating your own models too, or are you just like?
Yeah. So I've been doing I've been doing a lot of Pokemon balls. I have a Celebi in the other room. Hold on 1 second. Let me get to it.
Okay. Traveling.
And then I did a yeah. Let's see. Let me grab it out of the display case. It glows in the dark too.
Ooh,
That's cool.
But
that's cool. Oh, there's a little button and everything. Nice.
yeah, you press it in and it opens up and everything.
Have you tried resin printers, or are you still only using FDM style?
So I have a Elgo Mars 2 Pro, I think is the model. But currently I haven't been using it a lot because the bat will flood, and then not flood, but it'll like cure at the bottom of the bat, and then it just doesn't, like, it does it in random places and then it punctures the bat and then it just leaks everywhere. So it's too much work.
Okay.
But I have printed this on the resin printer also.
Oh wow.
Let me.
That's a great model.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I was going to say, if you remember, stop by, we still do 3D Hangouts, longest running 3D printing show. Stop by and say hi to Noe and Pedro, because I think that you might have one of the oldest ABS makerbot.
Oh, yeah, I still got that. Yeah, the cupcake.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it'll be interesting to see how long these filaments that people have.
I think there's probably people with working cupcakes out there.
Yeah, I think it'd be neat to see.
Are there really people still modding cupcakes?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop by the show. Stop by the.
Yeah, they'll be doing it again next week. This week they're off.
Stop by 3D Hangouts and.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If anybody has a solution for this problem right now, it would be a more than welcome solution.
Yeah.
I have a broken heater element for the Ultimaker.
Yeah, comment.
Yeah, we're still doing a weekly 3D printing live show, so come on by and say hi and show and share some of the stuff you got.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Good to see you, Jerry.
So good to see you.
Nice seeing you guys.
All right.
Okay,
everybody, that's our show and tell. What a great way to kick off 2024 together. We're here every single week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, where you do the show and tell, where you can come by and show 3D printers, the models you've printed, martial arts timers, keyboards, keyboard hacking,
broken 3D printers,
Lego. Yeah. 3D printers are neat because you're always kind of doing stuff with them. You're kind of always fixing them in some way or other. That's why it's kind of a fun hobby, because it's not just an appliance. You're always kind of working on it in some way. And then we also showed some keycaps, some resin keycaps and more. So that's our show. We'll see everybody next week. And we're going to be doing Ask an Engineer in about 5 minutes. So we'll see everybody on all the different places online where you can see our videos across all the socials and video places.
Bye, everybody.
I think we're also doing Instagram. They added Instagram, so we can do Instagram this week. Okay, we'll see everybody next week. Bye-bye.